For much of modern corporate history, acquisitions were the preferred way to grow. When companies wanted new technology, new markets, or new capabilities, they bought them outright. Mergers and acquisitions were seen as decisive moves that signaled confidence, ambition, and long-term vision. But across the US business landscape today, that playbook is changing. Corporate partnerships are increasingly replacing acquisitions, and this shift reflects a deeper change in how companies think about risk, control, and value creation. At first glance, partnerships can look like a weaker alternative. Joint ventures, strategic alliances, licensing agreements, and co-development deals do not generate the same attention as billion-dollar acquisitions. But behind the scenes, many companies now see partnerships as the more rational choice in an environment defined by uncertainty, tighter regulation, and rapid change. One of the biggest drivers of this shift is valuation risk. Acquisitions require companies to place a fixed price on future outcomes. In today's volatile markets, that has become far more difficult. Growth projections are less reliable, demand is harder to forecast, and technological relevance can shift quickly. Overpaying for acquisitions has become one of the most visible and punished corporate mistakes. Partnerships reduce that risk by allowing companies to access capabilities without locking in a full valuation upfront. Integration risk is another major factor. Many acquisitions fail, not because the target lacks value, but because integration destroys it. Cultural clashes, incompatible systems, talent attrition, and operational disruption are common outcomes. In an environment where speed and stability matter more than ever, integration risk has become harder to justify. Partnerships allow collaboration without forcing full organizational absorption, preserving flexibility and reducing disruption. Regulatory pressure has also reshaped corporate strategy. Antitrust scrutiny in the US has intensified, particularly for large and dominant firms. Deals that once would have closed quietly now face long reviews, legal challenges, or outright rejection. Partnerships offer a way to work together without triggering the same regulatory barriers. Companies can share technology, distribution, or infrastructure while remaining legally independent. Capital discipline further reinforces this shift. Acquisitions require large, irreversible capital commitments. Once a deal closes, the money is spent regardless of performance. Partnerships are typically less capital-intensive and more modular. They can be expanded, adjusted, or exited if conditions change. In an era where boards and investors prioritize optionality, this flexibility has become highly valuable. The nature of innovation itself has also changed. Many modern innovations are complex and interdisciplinary. No single company has all the expertise required to move quickly in areas like AI, advanced manufacturing, energy, or healthcare. Partnerships allow firms to combine strengths without duplicating effort. One partner may provide technology, another scale, another regulatory experience. Acquisitions attempt to internalize all of this at once, often at high cost and risk. Speed matters as well. Acquisitions take time. Negotiations, due diligence, regulatory review, and integration can stretch over years. Partnerships can often be formed much faster. In fast-moving markets, the ability to act quickly is often more important than owning every asset involved. Partnerships allow companies to respond while opportunities are still viable. Risk sharing is central to the appeal of partnerships. When entering uncertain markets or developing new technologies, companies increasingly prefer to share both upside and downside. Acquisitions concentrate risk entirely on the buyer. Partnerships distribute it. This is especially attractive when outcomes are uncertain or timelines are long. Instead of betting everything on a single path, companies spread exposure across multiple collaborations. Talent considerations further support this trend. Acquisitions often trigger talent loss, especially among founders and senior engineers who leave once earnouts expire. Partnerships avoid this issue by preserving independent cultures and incentive structures. Talent remains engaged because teams are not absorbed into larger bureaucracies. Investor sentiment also plays a role. Financial markets have grown more skeptical of acquisition-driven growth. Investors demand clear synergies, credible integration plans, and measurable returns. Many acquisitions are now greeted with caution rather than enthusiasm. Partnerships, by contrast, are often viewed as disciplined and pragmatic, especially when they align tightly with core strategy. Technology has made partnerships easier to manage. Standardized platforms, APIs, cloud infrastructure, and modular systems reduce friction between organizations. In earlier eras, technical incompatibility pushed firms toward acquisition. Today, interoperability makes collaboration far more practical. Strategic focus is another consideration. Acquisitions can consume leadership attention for years, distracting from core operations. Partnerships allow companies to pursue new opportunities without losing focus. In an environment where execution discipline is rewarded, this matters. Geopolitical and supply chain uncertainty also push firms toward partnerships. Cross-border acquisitions carry political and regulatory risks that are difficult to manage. Partnerships offer a lighter footprint, allowing access to international markets without triggering the same sensitivities. There is also a learning advantage. Partnerships act as a trial period. Companies can test strategic fit, operational compatibility, and trust over time. If collaboration succeeds, deeper integration remains possible. If it fails, exit costs are far lower than reversing an acquisition. Importantly, partnerships do not signal a lack of ambition. They reflect a different philosophy of growth. Instead of prioritizing ownership, firms are prioritizing adaptability. Control matters less when the future is unclear. Flexibility matters more. This shift aligns with a broader move toward reversible decisions across corporate strategy. Just as companies design products and systems that can be adjusted or rolled back, they now design growth strategies that avoid permanent commitments. Partnerships fit that mindset. Acquisitions still happen, but they are increasingly reserved for cases where strategic fit is obvious, integration risk is manageable, and long-term value is highly certain. Everything else is being handled through collaboration. Ultimately, corporate partnerships are replacing acquisitions because the cost of being wrong has risen. In uncertain markets, smaller, flexible bets outperform large, irreversible ones. Partnerships allow companies to grow, innovate, and adapt without overcommitting capital, reputation, or organizational stability. In today's US business environment, strength is no longer measured by how much a company owns. It is measured by how well it can collaborate, adjust, and respond to change. Partnerships are not a retreat from growth. They are a recognition that in a complex economy, the smartest path forward is often shared rather than owned.